troublemakers, to another beer in a movie. Today's drink of choice, we have Mountain Dew Cold Red. Glug, 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 glug. And then we mix that with a little bit of vodka. Not only is this vodka and Mountain Dew Cold Red one of my favorite drinks, but I'm also drinking out of a hardened mug. So, just getting excited for the final after movie that's coming out. It's bad because I can feel it already. I took the tiniest of sips and my body's like, you're getting drunk, aren't you? Before we begin, I'm hiring. I'm looking for an editor. If you have these qualifications, then email me at this email. Send me a video or videos of your work, and I need help. Also, if you do graphic design, let me know, because I am looking to hire someone in graphic design. I need to redo my logo for my channel. Somebody emailed me the other day saying it looked like it was from 2016, and that was actually pretty accurate, because I think that's when my channel started. Blockbusters. Movie studios spend tens of millions of dollars marketing movies that have already cost them hundreds of millions of dollars to make, and they cross their fingers and hope it's a success. That's why there's such a saturation of superhero movies, because those movies have a track record of turning a profit for the studios. It's not easy to turn a profit in the film business. Just ask my for-profit film school, which closed down. I just wanted to get the college mention out of the way early, okay? Today I wanted to begin a new beer in a movie series where we watch 3 movies. All 3 movies will have some linking factor. Today's linking factor, blockbuster movies that you completely forgot about. And when I tell you, there were dozens and dozens of movies that actually fit my criteria. So I decided to make it even more specific. Blockbuster movies that you forgot about that were also action sci-fi adventures. The first one on the list is I can't believe they actually made this movie. It's a little film that I was very excited to watch called Cowboys and Aliens. Guess what this one's about, guys? Any guesses? Drawing a blank? Yeah, me too. Fun little note about Cowboys and Aliens, doing a little research. And by research, I mean Googling it and then looking through the Wikipedia. This movie just barely edged out the Smurfs on its box office opening weekend. If that isn't embarrassing enough, Smurfs went on to completely decimate it over the theatrical run. I didn't know anything about this film going in. That's what excited me most about watching this film. You got cowboys, you got aliens. What else is there to the story? My writer brain started thinking, is it gonna be like a Squid Game scenario where they're just fighting to the death? They're put in this sick and twisted game? Maybe it's like a battle royale. Cowboys shooting them magnum guns. Aliens blasting their lasers at each other. Oh god, that's so fun. And maybe the loser's home planet is destroyed. That's the stakes of the game. But what is the actual plot of Cowboys and Aliens? Aliens in the past, during cowboy time, which was like, I don't know, like 1960? They didn't have electricity in this movie. When was electricity invented? Like 1962? So sometime before then? Guys, don't get on me. Don't get on me for like historical facts, okay? That's not my realm. Dylan, here's some history facts. Shut up, nerd. Get out, you big fat nerd. Look at that fat nerd. All nerdy and nerds like. Anyway, aliens are abducting people, and this group of cowboys has to go get them back from the alien ship that's just hanging out in the desert. Is that fine as a plot? Maybe. If you gave 10 people like a writing assignment, cowboys and aliens, you just go, write a plot. This is probably the most boring plot that you could come up with. It's playing it pretty safe, basically. The story begins with 007 waking up, and he's amnesiac.
Amnestic.
Amnesic? Amnesiatic is so much better. Your word's gross, Google. Anyway, so he's amnesiac, right? He wakes up, he's surrounded by 3 guys, and you're thinking, this is a pretty disadvantageous situation. I really worked hard to put disadvantageous into that sentence, because I know words, guys. I know some words that are big. But he's not disadvantaged. He's able to take out these 3 men, no problem. And just so we're clear, this is nothing to this man. This man is a god among men. Just wait till you find out. So he wanders into this random town, and he finds a scene unfolding before him. The Riddler is here, and he is upset that no one is doing his riddles. See, his daddy, Papa Riddler, he's like this really famous, rich war veteran. Which war? It's some cowboy war. I don't fucking know. We've done this history. I don't know. Some war. There's a war. There's people fighting. Battles. Riddler's father, Papa Riddler, is played by Harrison Ford. Now, I gotta give credit where it's due. Harrison Ford is phenomenal in this. Actually, seeing him in this film made me realize that this is the first time that I've ever seen him in a film. Ever. Dylan, but what about Star Wars? Dylan, what about Indiana Jones? Shut up! I'm telling a lot of people to shut up. If you like history, if you like Star Wars, if you like Indiana Jones, I need you to silently sit there. In fact, let me add this. I think that this performance here by Harrison Ford we can all agree that this is his defining performance of his career. This is the best. This is him at his peak, okay? You can't argue with that. You literally cannot argue with that. Because I'm the only one who's able to talk here, which is fun. I'm on a power trip. I think I'm drunk a little bit already. I'm getting loose. I feel myself getting loose. Screws are coming undone. Arden, what are you doing to me? I'd like you to do more, you know what I mean? Okay. A little bit later, the town gets attacked by alien ships. And then 007 whips out, he whips and nays his machine. He's got a little alien tech on his arm, and he whips and nays that bitch out of the sky. And by the time it opens, the alien's gone. So they're like, oh. They then hear screams. Turns out the alien's murdering a bitch right now. So they run up to the house. Too late. Aliens escaped out the back door. Wrangle up the troops. Wrangle up the cowboys. Yee-haw, we're on a mission. So they go out for a fight. They're looking for this alien. And they find it. They find the alien. And unfortunately, they're not prepared. The alien just... You know what it does? It kills all the superfluous characters. All the characters that aren't like main characters, they all get killed here. And I love when films do this. They're like, oh my god, the stakes are so high. Look at the alien killing everybody. But it's like all the characters you don't care about that have gotten no screen time. They're just extras. If you want to make me feel something, kill like the kid. I always say that, and people look at me funny, but I'm always like, just kill the kids. I should probably clarify when I'm saying that it's about movies. Sometimes I'm just like, why are we not killing the kids? And people are like, what is he? In movies, people, in movies. Oh, Olivia Wilde's here too. I don't want to say anything bad about her, but I have no choice. Because she was in the OC, which is the greatest teen drama that has ever existed. She was in it, and I want to like her so bad, but her character sucks. First of all, she doesn't fit the cowboy aesthetic, which actually kind of makes sense in the plot a little bit later, because she's not a cowboy. She's something else entirely. We're not talking about it yet, though. She just keeps pissing me off. See, there's one scene early on in the film. 007, remember that beginning scene? He takes out 3 guys, no problem. Well, now he's in a bar. Now there's like 6 people. And he takes them all out himself. And just when he's about to get away, he doesn't want no trouble, he just wants to get out of here. Olivia Wilde thumps him on the back of the head, knocks him out. She's just getting in his way. And then he's like, leave me alone, please. And she's like, no, I'm gonna be bothersome to you, which is just annoying.
What do you want? You stay away from me.
You stop the violence. You can't stop the violence. Allow the violence to happen. Until a kid dies, the violence cannot subside. Eventually, luckily for me, she gets caught by an alien ship. Oh, this is the best scene. She just gets taken. Everybody that's been taken thus far has disappeared from the film. They're not coming back. So as soon as I saw her get grabbed, I'm like, yes. Bye-bye, Olivia. Sorry. Sad to see you go. Not. 007, what are you doing there? No. Why are you chasing the ship, 00? No. What? Why did he think that was gonna work? He jumped off his horse, off a cliff. Do you understand how insane that feat was? He needs like a math degree. Just like the angles and the speed to line that all up and then jump on the ship and for what? To save her? Do we need her really? He blasts the ship. They go falling into the water. They're both saved. Great. Boring. That's boring, okay? Oh, now you're on shore. Now you're looking at each other all sexy and cool. Oh, wait, hold on. What is it? Oh! Slashed! He slashed her! Suddenly I'm Team Alien. He just inflicted a mortal wound. 007 kills the alien, but it's too late. Damage has been done, baby. She's bleeding out. Finally, 007 meets up with the rest of his comrades. Well, let's check in on Olive. How's she doing? Doc, give us the news. Oh, she's dead? The group is then attacked by a whole Apache tribe who takes Olivia's corpse and they throw it into a fire. Suddenly, I'm Team Apache now. Well, I love these guys. Whoa. What's going on here? I don't... No, she was dead. What is this bullshit? You want me to explain this? Yeah, the film decided to adhere to the piss Dylan off meter. They figured Dylan was having too good of a time watching people die. Let's undo that. That's the reason she's back. Turns out that she is also an alien, but not like an alien like the other aliens. She's from like a third planet. You might be thinking, is this getting a little messy? We got like aliens attacking from one planet, and now there's another. It's like an interplanetary battle now that's going on. Don't worry. The film has a very smart strategic move that it makes in order to keep it not confusing. And that strategy is not fleshing out anything about her. She's just like, hey, I'm from another planet. My planet got destroyed by the aliens too. And then all the characters are just like, fair enough, say no more. We don't need to know anything else. Let's just move on. Also, I should mention the aliens' motivation in, the reason aliens came to Earth is they're in search of gold. Like, the Earth thing that you find, the gold. You know, like, you mine for golds, like, in the old Western times. Apparently, that's their economy as well. They just runs on gold. fact that none of them ask her any questions. They're just like, oh, you're an alien, huh? Dog, ask her questions. Where did you come from? What was your planet called? Why do you look like that? Are you humanoid? Like, do you also? Oh, these pants are pretty resistant to stain. I like them. Fortunately, my green screen is not. That's gonna be there forever. Guess what? It was a little too tipsy to care right now. But seriously, ask her questions. Find out what she's like. Why did the other aliens look so different than humans? Also, I'd ask her, how did you get out of that fire? Can you go back into the fire and not come back out, please? Well, guess what? None of that matters. The fact that she's an alien, her motivations, everyone just trusts her. And then there's this weird thing. Remember 007 was amnesiac? Well, guess what? He got like a serum from the Apache tribe, and he remembers now. He remembers his whole life. He gave up everything for this woman he loves. He betrayed his comrades. He robbed Daddy Riddler, all for a bunch of gold so that he could start a life with this woman that he loves. And now he remembers that he was abducted earlier, and he was watching his wife get brutally dissected by the aliens. Oh, that's the kind of shit that fucks you up, and I love it. I was enjoying that part a lot. 10 minutes after he remembers this, remembering the love of his life just being horribly murdered, he decides to go kiss Olivia. Dog, why are you making out with, you don't, is that, why does she look like a human? Why are you making out with her? You just remembered your dead wife. Golly. And for some inexplicable reason, right as we're reaching the climax, they find the alien base. This is just like a reconnaissance group, right? It's just, they're scouts. They just want to see what Earth has to offer. They need to destroy the scout ship, otherwise the aliens are gonna come here. Because if you don't destroy the scout ship, the scouts are gonna be like, yeah, humans are weak as fuck. We can just go take the whole planet. If they destroy the scout ship, though, the other aliens are gonna be like, oh, they might be formidable. Let's not fuck with them. But as soon as they find this alien scout ship, the plot just comes to a screeching halt. They just rip that e-brake. Now 007, he goes and rides off to find more recruits for the battle. It's like 15 minutes where they just like really slow the plot down. It's like we just got to the climax part. Why? Now we're reversing? But since the film did that, I'm gonna highlight 3 characters. One that I loved, one that I hated, and then one that I have mixed feelings for. The one that I love, this guy right here. This guy, who I'm sure has a name, he was taken in as a child by Daddy Riddler. Now, Daddy Riddler, how do I put this nicely? He is not the biggest fan of Native Americans. But because this guy was taken in by Daddy Riddler, he reveres him. He's heard all the war stories. He puts his adopted father on a pedestal, even though the adopted father treats him pretty poorly. So late in the film, after they come across the Apache tribe, this guy just feels really out of place because he's adopted into Daddy Riddler's house, which is like very anti-Native American, but he's like connecting with like his people, and you could just see in his body language that he's very conflicted. It was phenomenal. Great performance. He didn't have to say anything. And then he goes up to the Apache tribe leader, and the tribe leader senses it, and he says this. That hits you. That hits you. And I hate this only for the fact that I know that this shit was cut from the film. I watched the extended edition. Believe me, I didn't want to watch the extended edition. I looked around to try to find just the standard version. Couldn't find it, so I watched the extended edition, and I just know that this is the kind of shit that gets cut. It's probably my favorite part of the film. Just like the actor did a great job. He has this pure discomfort. He doesn't know what world he fits into. I love that. One character I hated, the kid should have died, and you know you're supposed to like him, right? Because his parents are gone. I don't know. He's just vanilla. He's so boring. He doesn't show any emotion, and there's like this weird plot where the alien is like face to face with him, and he doesn't kill the kid. This is never explained, by the way. I thought the movie was gonna be like, oh, the aliens like kids or something. Not like they don't want to hurt children or something. You know, they're smart enough and they're compassionate enough to not want to hurt kids. But no, that's not a thing. This just happens, and then we're expected to understand it. I'm conflicted about this guy though, because this guy, he actually has a pretty good arc for a side character. See, the Riddler makes a fool of him early on in the film because this he's got no power.
I don't want trouble.
Huh? He was made a fool of in front of his wife, and he feels inferior because he can't give his wife the life that he thinks she deserves. He can't give his wife the life that he thinks she deserves. Was that difficult much, Dylan? No. But as soon as his wife is kidnapped, he sees this opportunity for redemption. He's gonna go get his wife back. Problem is, he has this recurring plot where he's like meek and he can't hit a shot. He's like a horrible shot. You know he's gonna hit the shot at the end. He's gonna make up for all those missed shots. That comes full circle, fine. But even though he can't hit a gunshot, they still give him camera shots like this. They make him look like a super badass. And at times, he's like ballsy and like talking back to people.
Where do you think you're going?
They took my wife. I'm coming. Guys, I'm a doctor. You need me.
But then at times, he's just like super meek and he's like, oh, I can't do anything right. It's so inconsistent, his character. Like, don't show this until after he hits the shots. This makes him look like the greatest gunman in the world. Climax. Let's cut through the ending here. I found this quote on Wikipedia. I'd like to read it for you. In Cowboys and Aliens, director Jon Favreau sought a plausible approach to how humans from the late 19th century would confront extraterrestrial beings armed with advanced weaponry. Apparently, his solution was to have those same aliens with the advanced technology fight against the greatest warrior in the history of the world. I'm talking 007 here. 007 is the greatest gunman of all time. Like, he gets into this alien ship and he just starts blasting. He just shreds these guys. And you'd think that the aliens, they would have the advantage because they built the technology. They know how to use it. The whole time, he's just kind of like, just shooting the thing. He doesn't really know how it works. All movie, he doesn't... He doesn't miss a single shot. He goes like 60 for 60. He hits every single time he shoots something, he hits it. A couple aliens come at him, he blasts them. A lot of aliens come at him, he blasts them all. And ironically, the aliens look down on the humans. And maybe rightfully so. But then in the end, all their allies are getting blasted and they just like rush out. Like stupid animals. Like, why are you charging in? You know you're just gonna get blasted, bro. Everyone gets rescued, happy ending, and especially happy ending for me. Because guess what happens? Olive, she sacrifices herself as she goes up. The spaceship's launching back to its home planet. Not if Olivia's got anything to say about it. She kamikazes, blows herself up. Spaceship explodes. Victory for all. Kid's still alive, but you know, like at least half the people I wanted dead are dead. It's not Olivia Wilde's fault either. Like, she's not supposed to act fully like a cowboy like everyone else. But she was just, her character was used as such a plot device. It didn't make sense how they tried to shoehorn in romance. 007 just remembers his dead wife and he's out here making out with Olive. Like, come on. And quite frankly, it's a weird concept. The overlap of people who like westerns and people who like sci-fi has to be pretty small. Oh, westerns? The amount of people that like those, they're mostly like old viewers. And people who like sci-fi tend to be young. However, I have a solution. I know what, just one small tweak, and I could have made this film so much better. If they had eliminated the aliens. Just one small little tweak, no aliens. The film is actually super interesting early on, because 007 wakes up, he doesn't know what's going on, he goes into town, he's like getting into fights. And then you have other characters like the Riddler, he's just incompetent son, but everyone's afraid of him because his dad has money, and his dad's this like hard ass who's out here like torturing people. And there's like a natural conflict because 007 stole from Daniel Craig. He took a bunch of gold from him. Then you got like the law enforcement guy who just wants to maintain the peace, but also wants justice. There's so many good threads of this film. But then as soon as the aliens come, all of that gets sidelined completely. And then in the end, they're all just like, hey, we went through some pretty crazy stuff together. But all of that's repaid. And all that conflict just gets resolved without ever needing to do anything about it. It's just, I haven't even mentioned the massive plot hole. 007 wakes up, he's got this technology on his arm. He doesn't know how to use it, and he's gonna like just be the ultimate gunsman? What would he do if that machine on his arm malfunctioned? Or worse yet, what if that machine on his arm got hacked and was used against him? The aliens could have used that device to track him down and come kill him. It's a scary thought, I know. Well, not for me, because I use NordVPN, so I can't be tracked when I'm online. Hello, this video is sponsored by NordVPN. Thank you to Nord for sponsoring. Do you use the internet? Do you know what sort of information is being taken from you every time you browse something? Every search you make, every website you visit, it's all logged. That information could then be sold to companies who then use that information to market to you directly. That makes me uncomfortable. I don't like having my information in someone else's hands. NordVPN hides your IP location from those who wish to track it, and it encrypts your online traffic, keeping you safe online. No more targeted ads, no more websites knowing your location. And the beautiful thing, these 3 movies, they're not available in American Netflix. So I just fired up NordVPN, headed to another country, boom, now they're all available for free. Most movies or television shows are somewhere in the world on Netflix. By using Nord, you have access to pretty much all television shows and movies that you'd like. And one more fun fact about Nord, if you rearrange the letters of Nord, you actually get Nord now. Nord also has a 30-day money-back guarantee. That gives you a chance to try it out risk-free. So sign up for Nord using my link, which is nordvpn.com/introuble. If you don't sign up, you will be in trouble. Do it. Thank you to NordVPN for sponsoring this video. Since we're on the topic of alien invasions, let's move on to the next entry. Battleship. Hollywood is rife with adaptations. I started this video kind of talking about that because studios want to guarantee profits. And one way to do that is by having already established franchises make a film about it and you have a guaranteed core audience. So my question is this. Who the fuck are Battleship fans? Battleship is a children's game where you try to guess your opponent's ships on the board and you try to sink the ships. And as far as I know, there's no like greater story or lore established with the game. I guess the sad thing about Battleship flopping at the box office is that it killed their whole board game verse, which was their movie universe based on board games. It killed the Connect 4 movie, which was in production. It had the idea of Hitler time traveled to our modern day, and he had to connect 4 cities in a row in order to dominate the world. So it was like a fun little Connect 4 little rom-com. Yes, I did say rom-com because there was a romantic subplot. Hitler questions whether or not he wants to dominate the world after falling in love with Zendaya. It was a messy plot. It's probably good that it did get made because that's a crazy plot. The plot of Battleship is actually the same. It's pretty much identical, actually, to Cowboys and Aliens. Aliens come down, they send like a scout team to Earth to test the defenses, and the goal of us Earthlings is to stop the transmission where they say, yeah, let's go fuck up this planet. They don't want to let the scout ship send that transmission back. The story follows Taylor Kitsch, who is amazing. You know about my man crushes. You know my man crush on Cam Chagande. You know my man crush on Flynn Rider. Ryan Gosling, Dylan O'Brien. Taylor Kitsch, I don't talk about it much, but I love him. Star of Friday Night Lights, the show, one of the best television shows ever made. Wait, did I call the OC the best teen drama? Fuck that. The OC is actually number 2. Friday Night Lights is genuinely one of my favorite shows of all time. Taylor Kitsch is so badass in the show as well. Like, he's just so sexy and badass and good looking, sexy. Look at this. I don't call guys sexy often, but look at this man. And in Battleship, much like Friday Night Lights, Taylor Kitsch plays a character who's very much troubled, but infinitely charismatic. I'm gonna call him Riggins, because that was his character in Friday Night Lights. There's a fun opening scene in Battleship where Riggins promises Brooklyn Decker a burrito, but the guy at the counter won't give her a burrito. So he runs across the streets, and then it's like a convenience store, and they're closing. And since they're closed, he decides to break in, warms up the burrito, cops come, they're tasing him as he's trying to hand off the burrito. It's great. Then his brother wakes him up the next morning with an ice bath, which will wake you up, and they just had this great scene where his brother's just getting on his ass, talking about, like, you gotta get your life together, you're a disappointment. And the whole time he's just like, I got tased, what the hell? He's just, like, not there.
I got tased.
It's literally the same identical character that he had in Friday Night Lights. It doesn't say much about his acting range, that he's playing the same character. But, you know, screw that. You know, some actors, you just want them to be the same in every single movie. Dwayne Johnson, Chris Pratt. You just want these actors to be the same exact person in all the films, and you're gonna go and have a good time. Don't have range. Be the same as you always are, and I will love you. Then this movie fucks it. They cut his glorious Riggins hair. Why would you... He has some of the most iconic hair I've ever seen, and they cut it. It just was like Samson to me. They cut his hair and he lost all his power. I just referenced a really niche story. Is that niche? I don't know. I only know the story because of the Regina Spektor song. Regina Spektor, also underrated. Since we're talking about underrated people. The difference between this film and Cowboys and Aliens is that Cowboys and Aliens took its time in setting up the aliens. It was like a slow burn into that. They took the time in setting up some of the interpersonal dynamics between the characters before leaning into the alien stuff. In Battleship, they're just like, fucking aliens are here, and then just like 3/4 of the movie is just destruction porn. It's just aliens just messing shit up. Taking down cities, taking down ships. That's the whole movie. It's just this massive destruction. And they don't take the time to flesh out the aliens at all. And you'd think that since they're not fleshing out the villains, maybe they would take time and flesh out the protagonists. But no, Riggins gets it a little bit because he's the main character. His plot is he's getting kicked out of the Navy for being irresponsible. So the film is about him stepping up and showing leadership. Every other character has no plot whatsoever. And as much as I love Riggins, I gotta say, I would have liked for maybe a little bit more acting range in his performance because he watches his brother die before his very eyes. And he just kind of gives like the model face. It's like this. Your brother dies in a fire. Act. Range, I love it. Now, aliens attacking Earth. They're just destroying your whole crew. Act. Brilliant. I say this with no hyperbole. I have never seen so many actors with such poor performances in my entire life. This guy. This guy. I didn't have to look him up. I knew immediately that he was not a professional actor.
Aliens?
I knew that this was his first performance all time. During my intense research, I found this little gem, okay? Double amputee U.S. Army Colonel Gregory Gadsden, who had never acted before, shocker, plays Mick Canales. He was cast after Berg, the director, saw a picture of him in National Geographic. This movie cost several $100 million to make. You casted one of the main actors of the movie after seeing a picture of him? That's not how you cast. That's like walking up to a random guy browsing guitars at Guitar Center and being like, sir, I don't need to hear you play. You are not the lead guitarist of Metallica. Because it's not like this guy has one line and he's gone. Like, he is a major part of this movie. There are some people, and I learned this by trying to have my mom deliver lines on camera, and my dad. Love you guys. They are so camera averse. Every time there's a camera on them, they just like stiffen up cardboard. There are some people where you put a camera on them and they just like, how be human now? How? You can't cast people like that in a $300 million movie. And the movie has like a very patriotic through line. So they get like a bunch of veterans who also, thank you for your service, they can't act for shit. And then they get a bunch of screen time as well and a couple lines. And it's just like, there's just too many people in your movie who can't act.
Holy shit.
Well, I haven't even mentioned Rihanna. The pop superstar. To be fair, she kind of got a good shake because the other people can't act. She looks good in comparison. She actually won an award for her acting in this movie. Unfortunately, it was a Raspberry Award for Worst Supporting Actress.
What?
Not a good award. But have you ever won an award for your acting? I didn't think so, bitch. Another character from Friday Night Lights is in this movie. He's a good actor. Rami Malek is in this movie. He gets 2 lines. Turtle from Entourage is here for some reason. The general problem with this film is that beyond the first 5 minutes, it spends its entire run trying to get the hero shots. In this film, hero shots are just explosions and the characters looking over all soulfully as the explosion lights cascade over their beautiful chiseled faces. What else do I want to talk about? Oh, the worst scene. Let me talk about the worst scene. The worst scene of the film is on the guy who can't act fights an alien in a full suit of armor. This big rough and tumble alien with advanced technology and fighting skills gets his ass absolutely handed to him by an unarmed man with no legs. He beats the fucking teeth out of the alien's mouth. Let me reiterate, the alien is in full armor. Okay. We can do this. I need more. Later in the film, there's a pilot who has Boomer on his helmet, and I thought, how fitting for this film. It's ahead of its time. It had Boomer written all over it before the word Boomer was even a term. Who is this movie for? That's my question. Again, it's the same, Cowboys and Aliens. Who's it for? You can't just blend 2 largely different demographic interests together and hope that it works. Same with Battleship. It's got all these patriotic fighting war naval ships. That's one demographic. And then alien invasion stuff, that's a completely different demographic. Young people like the alien stuff. Old people like the sexy military propaganda. But the alien stuff is gonna deter the people who like the propaganda, and the people that like alien stuff are gonna get turned off by the propaganda. It doesn't work. Final film has no aliens, but it does have Idris Elba, whose looks are out of this world. I love me a good segue. Listen.
A tower stands at the center of the universe, protecting us from darkness. It is said that the mind of a child can bring it down.
Uh-oh. I might be a threat in this world. It tastes so good. See this tower here? It holds our worlds together. Matthew McConaughey, he's not really into that. He wants to destroy the tower, which is gonna bring a bunch of monsters into our worlds. Which, if you ask me, is not alright. That's the worst joke. In the comments down below, tell me the worst joke of this video. I think it might be that one. The movie introduces us to a child with a dead dad. Promising start, you're thinking. I love a dead parent. We all do. It means that there's going to be some real grit. Because you can't have a dead parent in a movie and then have a happy-go-lucky child. You know, it's not like, oh, my dad died. Yay, my life is so great. No, the kid is sad. He's really depressed. This kid plays depressed really well too. Part of that's because he's having dreams of this tower that's being attacked by McConaughey. He's trying to tell people that the earthquakes that are happening on land, it's actually due to the tower being attacked and the line between the 2 worlds being shattered. I say that with like a question mark because I'm not really sure. It's pretty vague. No one believes the kid, obviously. Like, you're not gonna blame people if a kid comes up to you and is like,
by the way, that earthquake was actually an evil sorcerer who is torturing children into firing balls of light from their brains at a tower. And it's hitting the tower, and that's what's causing the earthquake.
You'd be like, I doubt it. Probably just like the earth quaking. I I don't know the process. Tectonic plates or some shit. I don't know. It's not beams of light though. His mom comes to check on him after an earthquake, and good lord. Hollywood, can you do me a favor? You're causing this problem in me because I look at this woman. Look at her. Can you look at her? Can you put your eyes on her? Hollywood, stop making moms so fucking hot. And you say, like, Dylan, what do you find so hot? She's struggling. Her shirt is falling off her shoulder. Her hair's a mess. She looks like she hasn't slept a whole lot. That's what's sexy. She's putting her all into parenting. How hot is that? Her disheveledness shows her effort. It's fucking sexy. Hollywood, stop making moms so hot. Maddie McCee's goons. Maddie McCee is Conahey. His new nickname is Maddie McCee. Maddie McCee, his goons are gonna try to kidnap the kid. They realize he's got a little something special going on in his brain. So they try to kidnap him, but he recognizes, no, they're the bad guys. So he does some sick-ass parkour to escape from them. It's actually the best action sequence in the movie. It's pretty unrealistic that the kid is somehow super good at parkour, but he manages to get away from these alien creatures. See, Maddie McCee, he's the sorcerer, he's human, but all the other creatures, they just wear flesh masks, because they're actually like hairy beasts. But then they put on masks to look more human, because Maddie McCee's like, I'm sick of looking at your furriness, you furry fuck.
Find yourself a face, rat boy. You're in my house.
They got like scars, and he recognizes the scar on the neck, and he bolts away from them. He actually finds a portal to the other worlds. But before he can go into the portal, the house attacks him. The floorboard is like a floorboard monster. Somehow the house like comes to life and attacks. It's so dumb. Worse yet, guess how he wins? Guess how he wins the battle against the house? He says, "Stop." And then the monster dies. Yep, that's stupid. Yep, I was just checking. The answer's right there. I can see it. Yeah, it's dumb right there. Is there an explanation that I could go to try to find how he defeated the floorboard monster? Maybe. But if you expect me in my free time to go to the Dark Tower subreddit and try to read up on the lore, you know what? I don't want to be there. Because those guys probably hate this movie more than I do. Because this movie was fucking terrible. Let's get into Idris's story. So Idris is trying to buy home and auto insurance.
Are you in good hands?
And Maddie McCee kills his agent. Pisses Idris off because Idris really needed the auto insurance. Maddie McCee's a sorcerer, right? So he says, "Stop breathing." And that's how he kills the home and auto agents.
Stop breathing.
In theory, that's kind of cool. But when you're seeing it, it's just so boring. It's just like words. And the guy's like, it's efficient as a sorcerer, yes. Is it visually appealing in any way? Absolutely not. Just as in visual effects, by God. Where did the budget of this movie even go? I'm trying to think, like, what do they even spend money on? Visually, this is one of the most boring films I've seen in a while. I was gonna talk about this later, but look at the shot. Look at how boring this fucking shot is. Conversely, look at what Apple TV uses as their screensaver. Sometimes when I'm watching on my Apple TV, like these are the screensavers that pop up if you don't watch for a little while, and I'll just sit there and I'll just watch because it's so visually stunning to look at. And then you have this. What is this? You can't even see Idris. Nothing stands out. The whole shot is very homogeneous. Let's go back to Maddie McCee, because he heads to the real world, our worlds. And he walks by a little girl and he's like, angry.
Hate.
Yeah.
And then a girl who is happy then turns angry. And then we cut away. And then we never see that girl ever again. I know what the filmmakers are thinking. They're thinking, look at Matthew McConaughey. He's a sorcerer. He could just say a word and affect someone's emotions. Fine. We already knew he could just say commands and like affect things. We don't really need to see this. And this in no way comes full circle. It's not like we see the little girl later. We just see the eyes of the girl glaze over. And then we cut away and that plotline's forever gone. There's such a better way to show that he's got powers. And you've already displayed it. We don't need to see it again. This pissed me off. The kid meets up with Idris. He's in the other world, right? And he sees Idris and he's like, oh, you're the guy from my dreams. And then Idris is like, you're a spy. And the kid's like, no, I'm not. And then Idris is like, all right, fine, you're not. Very thorough background check he did on the kid. So they start traveling together. They start bonding way too quickly. That's a problem. Because you know how this is supposed to go, right? He's got some traumatic past. He doesn't want to deal with the responsibility of carrying around a kid, but the kid finds himself in trouble. So he goes and saves the kid, and then they bond through like the parent-child relationship, like in like an adoptive way. That's a very powerful story. My favorite video game of all time, The Last of Us, did that story superbly. But the kid and Idris, they just start bonding immediately. Like, you needed to go through some shit together before you bond. And because they bonded so early, there's no soul. There's no soul to the storyline. Make them go through some shit together. Make them look out for each other. They're valuable to each other. Make them care about each other first. Then you can bond them. At this point in the film, I don't really care about Idris. I don't really know anything about him. Do I care about the kid? Maybe a little bit, but mostly just because he's got a hot mom. I shouldn't call his mom hot. Because Maddie McC finds her and literally burns her alive. The next time the kid goes back to his mom, he finds her ashes on the ground. That's so fucked. Her body's like burned into the floor. That's so messed up. I love that. My favorite part. There's a fight scene, which the film just can't do fight scenes right. So Idris starts fighting like a cloud thingy. He shoots it with his gun. If you were like, hey, I got a gaseous enemy, you wouldn't be like, okay, let me get my gun. But it works. I don't know. He shoots the cloud and it just like goes away. There's another fight sequence where the kid gets in trouble. He gets chased by this alien looking thing. I don't know what this creature is. I don't know if it's like a one of one. Is this world filled with like a bunch of creatures like this? This is the only one we see. It's just such poor world building. There is one scene where the kid's like, hey, it looks like an amusement park was here. And Idris is like, what's an amusement park? Obviously, like, this world was at one time maybe a greater thing and then it got ruined. But like, explore that a little bit. Idris and the boy then head to a village. Don't worry about these people. They all die. Like, all of them. It's fun. And then we get to the final showdown between Idris and Maddie McC. So Maddie McC's got a hold of the kid, and he's firing a beam at the tower. It's about to crumble. Idris comes with his guns, and Maddie McC's like, I'm not gonna let these bullets hit me. So he's like literally catching the bullets, which is pretty cool. So Idris shoots one shot, then shoots a second shot that ricochets the first shot off its trajectory a little bit, which hits Matthew McC and kills him. I'm no physics guy or history guy. I don't really have much intelligence whatsoever, now that I'm thinking about it. But I don't think the physics on that work out. That you shoot one bullet straight, and then a second one shortly after the first one shot, so it's already behind, and that one goes at an angle, hits something, and ricochets. Even if the ricochet makes it gain speed, which I don't know the physics, but I don't think it would. I don't think it would catch up to the first bullet. Like, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Maybe he can control the speed of his bullets, but that's never established. It's weird. I don't know, I don't care enough to really explore it, but that's how he gets his bullet into Maddie McC. Maddie McC's dead, but he's also got like a bunch of subordinates. They're useless, because they just stand around as the kid escapes. And then Idris shoots a bullet into the facility, and somehow that just explodes the whole thing. He's got like an explosion bullet. It's so bad just to be like, hey, this entire building, I'm gonna explode it with a bullet. Bang. Oh god. So now with the great evil dead, Idris is back in our world, and he's like, I gotta go back to my old world. And the kid is like, I get it, I understand. And then Idris is like, you wanna come? And the kid is like, sure. And then they head off to the old world, and that's how the movie ends. And Idris has the nerve. He has the nerve to say, there's nothing for you here.
You have nothing here?
Because remember his mom is ashes? Remember that fun moment? That was so good. But like, fuck you, Idris. There's nothing here. Bitch, there's TV here. You know what I mean? Medicine. A working economy. What the fuck is there in the wastelands? There was nothing there before. Maybe if you alluded to the fact that there's more work to do, but everybody you met on the journey is dead. His home and auto agent is dead. Like, he's got nothing there. I'm not gonna object to Maddie McC's performance, because he does a decent job, but his character just has weird motivations. He isn't like exerting power over people, he just wants it done. But then at the same time, when he meets up with the kid's mom, he does torture her and he does like exerting his power over her, and then Idris and the kid, they're both like decent actors. I don't really have any objection with their performances either. Actually, I do have an objection. They could have gone bigger with their performances. Like, the fate of multiple worlds is on the line. Eternal doom. You can pick it up a notch, right? There's a lot at stake here. You can show some of that anxiety, fear, some of that weight. But instead there's like, hey, we got a mission we're gonna go do. And that kind of feels very casual throughout the movie. It's crazy to think of the amount of time people put into these films. Directors will spend years putting projects together. Casting, revising scripts, pre-production, then the actual production, post-production, editing, they're heavily involved. The actors have to do fight and stunt choreography, or in order to get into character, they learn about different professions and practice different things. Not to mention all the sound people, all the grips, all the lighting. Like, there's so many people that work on these films. And for them just to be forgotten is a travesty. So I hope that with this series, I want to be able to touch on films that maybe you wouldn't watch, especially because they kind of bombed. I like to be able to talk about them and you can get a little taste for yourself of what they were like. And maybe, hey, maybe something I said sparked something in you. Maybe you like some of these concepts and you want to go watch the movies for yourself. Either way, I think it's fun just to be able to talk about films that no one really thinks about anymore. Because there was, at one time, something there, enough for studios to put hundreds of millions of dollars into these projects. And I'd hate for them to be forgotten. One thing you should not forget is to sign up for Nord. NordVPN.com/introuble. Sign up. Hope you enjoyed this Beer in a Movie. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Alright, thanks for watching.